This is Duke University.
The changes that we're discussing really have, are the biggest changes in this industry since Edison, really. I mean, it's pretty much been a decentralized or a centralized generation, long radial lines, a highly interconnected transmission system, long radial distribution, and a 30-year capital expenditure depreciation model that has run the business, where you negotiate a rate with the local regulatory commission. I think all of those things are changing. Every one of those things is changing. Societally, I think we're all in the same boat, if you know what I mean. We're all involved in making decisions and making it happen. The utility business models are regulated right now and really don't have a great deal of affinity for getting things like renewable resources or a decentralized design in place. But that definitely is coming. So those changes have to be made. We have to have an educated community. We have to be more educated at governmental and policy levels. And societally, we have to agree that where we want to go in a greener and a more automated and a more efficient society is the right path to go down. In terms of the large storms like Katrina and Sandy, and the needs that have kind of emerged from that, I think the needs have always been there, but they haven't been as poignant. These types of events draw out a very strong vein in these discussions. And what we see is that the cities, and we talked about the societal issues and the societal changes come out, but the cities and the city governments and the state governments are now taking the word resilience very, very literally. And they're saying, how can we actually provide funding mechanisms? How can we provide incentives? How do we make these changes that we've been talking about get started? How do we really take those first initial steps? And how do we then finance those kinds of operations? Some of the biggest innovations that I see coming down the path for this particular sector, are kind of spread all over the boards. It's a very wide perspective. As you know, there's many societal changes that need to happen, and maybe it's an education of society. It's a broader understanding of energy usage. It's the fact that many different things are interrelated. For example, like the water systems and the energy that they use, which can be a big impact on reducing peak power demands and shifting power demands to other hours. There's also a broader need to understand at a governmental level how regulatory models should change and how they can promote incentives to utilities to start to move toward more decentralized and more efficient designs and more efficient operation of these kinds of systems. At the same time, innovation is going to have to abound in all of that. There's certainly innovative work going on right now in terms of many different aspects. The control aspects that are going to be required to actually move toward more resilient systems, the capability to provide for storage mechanisms that are going to support the different and more decentralized views that we'll be putting in place. There's, in fact, huge amounts of effort that are going into how to integrate renewables at this point in time, since they're intermittent and we have to be able to manage our voltage and frequency of the networks to get the same reliability levels. There's just a broad spectra that goes in, both electrical, mechanical, societal, everything. We are going to have to innovate in every way to support what is essentially a generational change in the industry and in our society.